Welcome to MissouriNet.com. It's time for our weekly visit with TJ Fenske of KRCG-TV out of Jefferson City. The Missouri Tigers come up with a 24-14 win over Vandy on Saturday, homecoming. It was a game, TJ, that the feel from the crowd and the whole feel of the game just had this, like blah kind of feel to it. But Missouri put up close to 400 yards of offense, a couple of nice passes from Matty Mock, something that we haven't seen in the last few weeks. The touchdown pass at the end. I kind of left the game with a little bit of a better feeling than I did going in. But what were your general impressions of Mizzou, in particular the offense?
Well, through the first 40 minutes, I'd say the Tiger Stripe was the most exciting part of the game. The fans came through, but it was not. That first 40 minutes was awful. It was tough to watch. It's kind of weird. It was against Vanderbilt team that they were struggling all year, and if you can't score against them, a team that lost to Temple and 1-point win over Charleston Southern, this team should be easy to beat, especially at home. But after that 40 minutes, I think they scored 3 minutes to go in the third quarter, and then that fourth quarter touchdown. You're right, optimism right away. Matty Mock threw his first touchdown pass in 4 weeks, which is amazing to think about. But you kind of got that optimism, like, all right, here we go. This is what the offense was supposed to be about. And Bud Sasser caught both those touchdown passes, I believe. So he's been stepping up as a senior captain, and definitely a lot of optimism. That's a great way to finish out a win. They did it convincingly in the fourth quarter. Shut them down, got that last touchdown to Bud Sasser, pretty much sealed it and nailed in the coffin. Not where you want to be, but it's optimism, which you got to take going into a Kentucky game where you're at home, can go for your second straight win at home.
And and that's Mizzou's thing is finish in the fourth quarter and finish teams off in the fourth quarter, and I thought they did that. Again, a lot of criticism that I think. Listen, Mock can certainly do things to improve, but he doesn't have a full season yet. I mean, he might be closing in terms of starting an actual full season of 12 games. I don't even know if he's there yet. So I mean, he's still a relatively young quarterback, but I still think a lot of criticism is placed on his shoulders when you look at the number of false start penalties. I don't think the offensive line is anywhere near where we thought it would be. Taylor Chappell looks like he's out of his league on that offensive line. And then you've got some guys that were dropping some passes. So it just seems like as soon as, Matty Mock takes off and scrambles and looks a little flustered or throws a pass behind a receiver, all of a sudden let's bring in Prince. Let's get Prince in. Why don't we why ain't Pinkle trying Prince? When you saw that last touchdown pass and how he basically could have walked over to Bud Sasser, and listen, Bud Sasser made a great catch and he got his feet in, but the only better way you could have gotten that ball to Bud Sasser was been to walk over and hand it to him. That's why Matty Mock is playing, and that's why Matty Mock is the starting quarterback. I think he's getting way too much criticism for the offensive struggles.
I totally agree, and you can't forget, Darius White's out as wide receiver. He hasn't been playing as much, and Anthony Gatti with the ACL, offensive line issues. You can't put it all on Mock at all. And as you saw in that last play, that showed what he's capable of, and he's done that before. But the 10 or 15 penalties they had in this game, inexcusable, and totally not all Mock's fault. Totally not. Offensive line needs to pick it up. Receivers need to get open. They need to catch the ball. And I'm glad that Bud Sasser stepped up as the captain. He kind of stepped up, got those 2 touchdown passes. He had another good catch where he caught a slant. I think he carried his defender for about 15 yards. You're right. Mock's doing his own. He's doing his own thing. He's hanging in there. And if you're the quarterback, you take all the criticism. Whether the team wins or loses, it's all on your shoulders, no matter what happens. And it's kind of getting to him. He didn't show up to media day a couple weeks ago. I think it might be carrying on him, but it's definitely not all his fault. And the fans, even us, need to realize that, like you've said.
Yeah, well, yeah, we kind of beat him up a little bit last week, but he was there, and of course they won. All right, so now it's Kentucky this week, and TJ, I got to be honest here. This should not even be close, and I don't care what, if you look at their record, if you look at how improved they are, this should be a slam dunk for Missouri, and I'm going to point out a couple of things for you. They're 5-3 on the season. They're 5-1 at home. They're 0-2 on the road. But look at their last 3 SEC games, and I'm going to go in order. Last week, they lost 45-31 to Mississippi State, number 1 team in the country. All right, it's a 14-point loss, but they gave up 45 points. They lost at LSU 41-3, and then beat South Carolina 45-38. They've given up in their last 3 SEC games, 38, 41, and 45 points. I mean, listen, if you've got a struggling offense, this is who you want to be playing this week. Kentucky's going to give up a ton. Listen, I don't think Missouri's going to get into particularly the upper 30s, but I think Missouri's going to put a lot of points up against this defense. I don't think this is a very good football team from Kentucky. They play hard, but they gave up 36 to Florida in that overtime game. This defense is lousy. This is what Mizzou needs. Am I off my rocker, or do you think this is going to be a close game? I don't think this thing's going to be close at all.
I want to say it's not going to be close.
Yeah, and I let everybody know I'm putting you on the spot because I didn't tell you what I was going to angle I was going to take. So take your time to kind of formulate your thought there on that one. But I think this is a blowout.
It should be, but the way Mizzou's been playing, I don't think it is. But at the same time, you make valid points. I mean, that loss to LSU 1-3, they can't play defense. LSU has been struggling to score points all year. I mean, they beat Ole Miss the other day, but it was 10-7.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So obviously, if LSU can score 41 points on them, their defense struggles. Mississippi State put 45 on them. Even Florida is struggling a lot. They lost in, I think, triple overtime. They put up some points. The offense showed optimism. If they can do what they did in the fourth quarter versus Vandy and continue that in Kentucky, definitely a blowout. Definitely a win. Slam dunk, as you said. But Kentucky, obviously, a much improved team. Got a new coach, Mark Stoops, and they're playing better. They have a different swagger to this team this year. They have a winning record. They can go to a bowl game if they win this. They're 5-3 to get their 6th win. So they're playing for something at least. But you're right. No doubt Mizzou should win this game handily. They are the better team, especially if they can play how they did in the fourth quarter. So I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
We'll see what happens. And they've got to clean up the penalties, like you said. 15 penalties, way too much.
Mm-hmm.
They've got to take care of that. So, all right, well, we'll see what happens this week. And then as you look at the schedule, 2 road games, a bye week, and then you've got a road game at Texas A&M, at Tennessee, and then they finish up with Arkansas. And, we've said all along those are 3 games that, they could certainly win. So Mizzou can certainly run the table. And then you're going to have to hope that you get some help from Georgia and Auburn. And I know we bring this up every week, but, I mean, those are still, in my mind, games that you can win when you look at Missouri's defense. Their defense is right up there again and playing some very good football. Only 81 points allowed this season. So that's pretty solid SEC defense. That's
been their calling card. That's what's surprising me. Mizzou's all about the offense in recent past, but now the defense has been winning them games, and they'll need it against Kentucky, but they'll need it against A&M if they want to win that game. Team who can put up a lot of points, and definitely Arkansas, who's now being able to show be able to run now, and Tennessee. So they're not out of this SEC championship, drive to get to the game, and they're still in this by a long shot. And I kind of feel like they're in what South Carolina's seat was in last year, hoping that Georgia screws up. And Mizzou never screwed up last year, so we got to hope that Georgia screws up. But it's interesting. We need some help, but it's definitely doable.
All right, good stuff. TJ Fenske from KRCG-TV out of Jefferson City. Real quick, Game 6. Do the Royals win? Do they get to a Game 7, or does the baseball season end?
I'm going to be at the game tonight. So for work. So I'm hoping they'll win tonight. They'll win, and then we're going to go to a Game 7, and I'm going to leave it at toss-up. That's going to be a good game.
All right. So there you go.
Yeah, I don't know if Bumgarner will get in Game 7, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's true. All right. But you're picking a win tonight, so we'll see what happens. Yep, TJ, thanks a lot. Thanks for watching us, and remember, we're going to have coverage throughout the week here with Mizzou football and then basketball later this week. So I can't believe it. It's a busy week. That World Series, a bunch of crazy stuff going on. Thanks for watching us, and don't forget to check out all of our other stuff at MissouriNet.com.